Hi, I'm Pete, and this is a tutorial for the MF8 Unicorn Cube. I'm going to show you every step of the scramble and solve of this cool little puzzle. Now, the MF8 Unicorn has a 3x3 component, which is solved exactly the same way as a standard Rubik's Cube, but it also has these really cool vertices that turn. And what you will notice about the vertices is that 4 of them turn and then 4 of them don't turn. So the puzzle is somewhat asymmetrical. It's a fun solve. The method I'm going to show you doesn't require any commutators or complex algorithms. Everything's done with either 3 cycles, such as the edge piece series, down, down, up, up, or standard Rubik's Cube 3x3 techniques. Okay, so I'm going to be showing how to solve every part of the puzzle, but I'm going to focus really on the parts that are unique to the Unicorn Cube. So to get the most out of this video, it would be helpful if you knew how to solve a standard Rubik's Cube. Okay, I'm still going to show that part, but I'm not going to spend as much time on it. Alright, well the first step then to solving this puzzle is getting a good scramble. So what I'm going to suggest you do is go around and turn the vertices. Just anyway, 1 or 2 steps, that's it. Okay, and once you've turned the vertices, do 180 degree turns on the faces to mix up the faces a little bit. So not 90 degree turns, 180 degree turns, and you'll see why in a second. Okay, so this is an R2 turn or a U2 turn if you're familiar with the puzzle notation. So once you've turned it a little bit, then you can do some more turns on the vertices and just kind of try to get them mixed up. And I'm gonna, yeah, I think that'll be okay. Okay, now what I've inadvertently done is I scrambled that, so I'm going to turn this in the opposite direction. I've inadvertently solved it. And then I'll do a few more double turns, and now we can then go to the 90 degree turns and really scramble it up. So the reason for the 180 degree turns at first was to preserve the cuts along the on the vertices, so that we could still use them to scramble a puzzle. Because once you start doing 90 degree turns, you'll notice that you can't turn the vertices. You have to rearrange the puzzle a little bit. Okay, so there we go. Now I see that I still have this piece here which is not split. I mean, it's not a huge crime to leave it unsplit, but if you really wanted to, you could put things back. Yeah, you could put things back and just go ahead. There we go. And that's going to be really good. Now it's not going to be quite. Let's see. I got to be careful. I don't want to resolve the puzzle. There you go. So now I've gotten a bit better scramble there. Okay, looks very nice. Looks very colorful when it's scrambled. And this is where we'll start the solve, just like that. All right, so here we go with the solve. So the first thing we're going to do is solve these little triangles. And you'll notice there are 2 triangles for each center. And in solving those little triangles, there's a setup portion that I'd like to do first. And it will make things much easier for the actual solving of the triangles. So before we solve the triangles, let's do a little setup. What we want to do is get things arranged so that the vertices are turnable again. Now, when a vertex is turnable, the centers, the arrows all point in the same direction. So we notice this orange face, these little triangles aren't pointing all at the same vertex. So I'm going to turn this 90 degrees, and so now this one's pointing, that one's pointing, and that one's pointing. So that means this vertex should be able to turn if we get the proper edges here. Okay, well, what we have to do is if the cut doesn't follow through the edge, we have to find an edge that's flipped around. So, for example, this has the big end in here. This one has a small end there, so this one will go there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this piece away. I'm going to put my destination where it used to be, put the piece back, and then turn everything back. So now I've put this piece in place, and you can see that our cut has extended around here. So we have to do the same trick for this one. And I see this piece, we have the big end here, it has a small end, so I'm going to hide this piece away. I'm going to take my destination, put it where the piece used to be, and then bring back the target piece. And then I turn everything, and now this vertex is ready to go. Okay, so we're going to do that for the other three, and it's actually going to get easier as we go. So remember that our cuts for the turnable corners or vertices are where the arrows, the little triangles are pointing. So this one is going to be one of them. So that means that we have to turn this red face so that one of the triangles is also pointing at the corner, and now this one's already correct. So now we know that the centers are oriented properly, and we now have to get these pieces. Now these ones are already correct, so we just have to fix this one. We just have to find a piece to put in place or flip that piece around. But we've got to be careful not to disturb anything on the one we already did. So looking at this, we have the big end here. What we need is one with the small end, and it happens to be right there. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to hide this out of the way and then do the same replacement. But we don't want to move it this way because that piece is already in its proper place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the piece up here so that we're not going to break anything. I put the piece in, I replace the piece, and now when we come up, we've got this one that turns. Now if you break one while you're doing it, it's not a big deal to go back and fix it. So we have now both of the vertices on the white face are correct. So let's just flip this over and now work on the yellow face. And we do the same procedure. We know now that the faces on the sides are pointing correctly, they're correctly oriented. So we make sure that the yellow face, one of the triangles is pointing at a corner. That's correct. We see this cut here. Everything actually looks good. The only piece that's wrong is this piece right here. Okay, so I can, let's see. So I see this piece right here might be a good one. Let's see now. Yeah, so this piece here, in order to bring that over, yeah, so this is okay. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this here. I'm going to put this piece in place. That's not one that we have to worry about right now. So the piece that we want to replace is right here. And in order to make this work, I'm going to have to put the, going to have this facing that way. Okay, so how can we do this? I'm going to, yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, basically I'm going to 3-cycle this. I think this will work. 3-cycle it. There you go, that piece went where we wanted. Now the only risk here is that we might have broken the one below, but it turns out that it didn't break it. That will happen sometimes. So 3-cycling them as you get towards the end is certainly a viable way of doing it. Okay, so now we got this one. We only have one more to go. And these should all be oriented correctly at this point, but notice these are completely mangled here. And this is where the 3 cycles come in. Because all of the other pieces are correctly placed on the puzzle, these 3 pieces, there has to be some arrangement of them that gives us a proper cut here. Okay, we know that this is wrong, so if I turn this piece down here, it'll definitely fix that. So let's try it. Okay, so all I did was I 3-cycled them and it worked. Now sometimes you have to do that twice, and every once in a while you have to put a piece down and then you have to flip it manually by putting it up and then bringing the piece around. In other words, you have to 3-cycle it in another direction, but usually you can find an arrangement that works. Okay, well here we are. It seemed like a lot of work to get it to this stage, but really, you know, most of it was me explaining how to do it. So now that we're at this stage, we can go ahead and solve the little triangles. Now this part is important not just for solving little triangles, but later on at the very end of solving a puzzle, sometimes we get a parity error and that we have to fix the triangles again. So this knowledge will come in very, very handy. I suggest starting with the white face And in order to make that easier, any white pieces, you just turn them down. It doesn't really matter. Well, okay, in this case it matters because we knocked out a good piece. Oh, well, we don't have any. Oh, okay. So in this case, I don't want to knock out a good piece from both of these. So I'm going to turn this around, put a bad piece there, turn that around, put a bad piece there, and now I can just go ahead and just turn the white down. Just want it on this side. And then the other white is over here. Okay, so we're good. So what I want to do is I want to put a white piece there. There's the piece. And what I have to do is kind of look at the situation here. If there's any pieces that would be solved by turning this other than the white, then I want to sort of, you know, do it strategically. In this case, the only piece that will be solved is the white, so I'm just going to go ahead and just plunk it in there. Doesn't really help. Now this white piece here, we're going to flip this face 180 degrees, and now I'm going to put this white piece in there. But before I do that, let's take advantage of the fact that we're going to solve the white face. Let's go ahead and see if we can find a piece to go in there to maybe solve one of these. Okay, so I go over here and I see indeed this is a blue piece here that could be used to solve that blue. But notice that this this orange is already solved, right? So we don't want to affect that. So let's just flip this around, and this red, which actually goes over there too. So I'm going to just go ahead and put the blue here. It doesn't affect anything because neither of these pieces are solved. And now I've got the blue here, I got the white here, I have the blue here. Let's figure out how to do this so that we don't, so that we end up with the best possible a number of pieces installed here. Because if I just flip this around and push the blue in, I'm going to end up with one white correct and one blue correct. Actually, that is the best outcome. Okay, I'll do that. There you go. So that's pretty good. Now, I'd like to think that we're done with the white face. Indeed, we are done with the white face. Okay, so we don't have to do anything else. Let's flip it over. And now let's focus on the yellow face and getting that one sorted out. So I see right here, the blue is completely solved. So we got to keep that in mind. And right here we have a yellow, we have an orange, over here. How are we going to solve this yellow? Because if I put the yellow in here, notice that it knocks the blue out. Okay, but if we do that and then do a 180 degree and then bring this orange piece back down, it also has a nice effect of solving the blue for us as well, right? So that's the sort of thing you want to look for as you're solving these triangles, a way to kind of solve a piece, but then try to solve more than one piece at once. Okay, so now we're getting towards the end here, and this is where things, so just to back up a little bit. So this was basically a 3-cycle, right? We moved, we had the blue, the orange, and the red were all involved in this 3-cycle. Now when we come over here, we've got a little problem because we only have this one piece. Oh, and we have the green over here as well. Oh, I see, we've got another green here. Okay, so this could get a little bit complicated, and that's exactly what we want to do. I love this stuff. So what I'm going to do is we have this red, so if I just turn this red will be okay, right? And it'll go in here. So let's see if we can make all this work. So I'm going to turn this, and we got the red here. Now what I want to do is turn everything back, okay? But if I turn this back, it's going to take that yellow out. So if I turn this around though 180 degrees, now when I turn it back, the yellow will be placed, and the red, well, the red will go there, but we don't want the red to go there. What we want the red to do is go into that spot. And the beauty of this is that when the red goes into that spot, the green goes into that spot. And what I'm saying is that by arranging things carefully, we ended up with a perfect 3-cycle of triangles, and now all of the triangles are solved. All right. So just feel free to experiment with that and try a little bit, and eventually you'll get the hang of it. It's a fairly easy thing, and you really can't mess anything up when the puzzle's in this early stage of completion. That was probably the hardest part of the whole solve. So let's look at our next step, and the next step is to join the edges here. So notice we've got a big part and a little part of the edges. I just like to work on one particular corner. It doesn't really matter, but I'll just use the yellow, red, green corner. All you need is one of these working. The fact that you set things up like this means it's a fairly easy thing to do. You don't have to worry about pieces being misoriented or things like that. So it's good to keep it just in that configuration where you're able to turn all of the vertices, even if you're only working on one. So the method I'm going to use here involves the idea that we'll put a piece in, and then we'll turn it, and it'll join two pieces together to make a complete edge. And I'll show you how this works, and I think you'll get the idea. So this is a white blue, and if I turn it this way, I want the small white blue to be there. There's my small white blue. Now my turning edge is right here, so when I move stuff around, I want to use the bottom, the left side, the back, and that's it. I don't want to use this side at all. So I got my white blue there. Now, when I'm doing these, I'm very visual, so I like to actually have the piece right next to the one I'm working on, just so I can understand what I'm going to do. So what I want is a small piece on that end there. So I'm going to replace this piece with that. I'm going to put this down, I'm going to push the new piece on top of it and bring it back. So now when I turn this, the white blue and the white blue are going to join, and that'll be a good edge. But at the same time, this one's going to go down here, and I'm lucky. I guess I'm lucky because the blue-red that we needed is already there, so I didn't have to change it, right? Now, the one thing I want to point out is that that's okay, right? We're going to make two pieces. We're going to create two pieces. But this red-white, there is no red-white. This one's not going to be good. There'll just be two. If I lose track of what I'm doing and I say, all right, I need a red-white one there, and you put it in, well, then this piece, which you're counting on, will not be in the red-white. Okay, so you can only usually make two at a time. Sometimes you can only make one at a time. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. I turned it, I made that piece, I made that piece. Now, notice I've put these three triangles out of place. That's perfectly fine as long as we put something back in there and then turn it back around, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So when we go backwards, this one's going to go down here. So now we're going to find the red, white, and we're going to put that piece in there. Okay, so I'm just going to look around. There it is. There's the red, white. There it is. And I want to put that piece, replace the good piece with a split piece. Now we got the small part has to be at the bottom. So I'm going to take the slot that I'm trying to replace, turn it down, put the new piece in, turn it back up. So there we go. So now when we turn everything back, that'll fix. And now since we're going this way, we need something to get the blue and yellow over here. So I need to find a little blue and yellow. There it is. Okay. So there's my blue and yellow, and I want the small part towards the bottom, so I'm going to do the same thing I did over here. I'm going to put the slot that I'm trying to replace down, move the piece on top of it, bring it up. There you go. And again, as we go back, this yellow-orange, okay, normally this doesn't happen, but it was just a nice, fun coincidence that it's actually going to be fixed. So very rarely do you get all three in the middle of the solve like this, but that's okay, that's fine. We can deal with that. So I actually solved three pieces, but we're not done yet. So what we're going to have to do here is just kind of start over, and so I'm just going to put this one in, And then, so this is the one that's going in, and I will just base everything off of that. So I've got red. So we're going to go this way. So I want red, yellow. Okay, there's my red, yellow. I'll hide it away. And there we go, bring it up. So as I'm turning this, red, yellow, and so yellow, green, we want yellow, green down here. Sometimes you'll also get it where two pieces that you have in have, this one has this big one has a small one, and this big one has a small one. So you also can't fix a piece that way. It happens quite a bit, and it's not a problem. You can either do two pieces or one piece as you're working on this. So this is what I'm trying to put in here. So I'm just gonna take that out of the way. There we go. So when I turn this, I'm gonna put that there. That'll fix that piece. That's gonna go there, fix that piece. And this one, blue, orange, it doesn't matter. Okay, there you go. And again, we've mangled these three pieces here. But that's okay. We can fix this. You gotta have faith. This always works out. All right, so now let's try and picture going back now. Now, if you wanted to, you could, try turning it, keep going in the same direction. I just like to go forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Okay, so we're gonna go back. So this one, we gotta figure out what goes there. It's blue and orange, which is right there. And so the small part is that way. So this is the slot. It's got the completed one. Moving it out of harm's way, putting this one. So this piece is gonna fix that one. And we have red and green. So we got to find. There's our red and green right there. And so red and green. Now I don't know if I've done too many of these. The small end has to be there, which means I got to use a U-turn. So I'm going to hide this out of the way this way. Yeah, I don't think I've done too many of those for this solve. Put the slot in and bring it back. So it was just a way to make sure that the piece would be oriented properly. If I'd have moved it down, it would have come in here upside down. All right, do I have it? Yes. So we're going back. We got to remember this. So I'm going to go back, and it's going to solve two of the three. And that one's still broken. No problem at all. No problem. Okay. So let's think about going forward now. So we got the white and the green. So I need a white and a green there. There it is. Okay. Small part has to go down. Small part it'll be there. But what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to hide it away. Put that down, and then put the piece I want to replace in there. So white and green will be solved. This one is orange and green, so we want to put orange and green there. Okay. And okay. And sometimes, as it happened here, it's going to work out. And this is a case that happens usually in the last turn, where it's actually going to work too well, and I'll show you why. Okay, so what's happened is we've fixed three edges. There's no more broken edges on the puzzle, and the problem is these three pieces are out of place. So we don't have anything else to put in here to undo this. So this is a case where it worked too well, and I'm going to show you how to deal with this. Okay, so if this happens, then you just have to back up, and you're going to say, well, we can't do this. We cannot solve three of them at once. So what are we going to do? I always like to pick on this one. I don't know why. Basically that one, I'm going to get it out of there, and I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to do something absolutely crazy. I'm going to take a good one, and I'm going to replace it. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to put a good one in there, and I'm going to replace it. And you're going to say, but Pete, that is crazy. You're busting up a good one, and when you turn this, all you're going to do is get one completed piece. But there was a movie recently, I think it said, in order to create, you have to destroy. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to turn this, and indeed, we only got one good one. We got two bad ones. But what I want to show you is this. We have to do one more turn. We have to turn this back. And I have one broken piece, two broken pieces, three broken pieces. There are three broken edges on the puzzle and three slots to fill. And if we can get them in the right order, then we'll be able to solve all of these edges and the little triangles. And that was what I was trying to show you. So the way to figure out how to arrange things is, this is blue and orange. So I'm going to put the blue and orange down here because we're going backwards. So I'll find the blue and orange wherever it might be. Oh, it's already there. Right, of course, because that's the one we just broke. So it's already there. So we're going backwards, blue and orange. Now this one is green and orange. So we got to find the green and orange to put in there. There it is. And something kind of cool is going to happen when I put the green and orange in. So there's the green and orange, but remember going this way, well, this is white and orange, and look at that, white and orange. Because there's only three left, it has to work that way. It's always got to work that way. So I figured out, based on the one that was here, I figured out, well, the one we broke is still there, so it hasn't moved. What was here, I put the right piece in, and then because the only piece left to fix this had to be part of that. So when I turn everything back, we have all the edges done and all of the little triangles are solved. Right. So I think that's pretty cool. Now we have a relatively straightforward Rubik's Cube solve left to do, but there are a couple of little catches. One of them can get you right at the end. This one, I'm just going to go through the Rubik's Cube solve. So first of all, when I do the white plus sign on the bottom. Some people call it a white cross, but I'm a math guy, so I call it a white plus sign. But when you line the white edges up with your center, you have to make sure that the cuts line up. And if they don't, just turn it 90 degrees. Likewise with the white face, you have to make sure the cuts line up. And this is just a one-shot thing. Once you get the white face oriented, then you don't have to worry about it. But the side ones, you have to make sure you get them. So there's, for example, there's the green. Okay, that's correct. And we know it's going to line up with the white because we already did that. There's the red, so that doesn't work. So I'm just going to turn it 90 degrees, and now that works. And there we go. And then finally the blue. Okay, so now it's correct. Okay, so I have my white plus sign on the bottom. I'm just going to put the white corners in. Just exactly the same as you do a regular Rubik's Cube. Okay, that was good. Okay, these not too bad, just need to be oriented. So all I'm doing is there's a little three cycle that I'm doing to orient the corners. That's pretty standard Rubik's Cube solving. I did say there were no complex algorithms here. I hope you agree. A little bit of strategy on those triangles, but nothing too extreme. So we have the corners, the plus sign, and now I'm going to put these edges in, and I just use an edge insertion routine, standard 3x3 method. You could do F2L or whatever method you want there. Doesn't matter. This is not much of a speed cube, so I don't know if you use a speed cubing method, it might be might not go very smoothly for you. Now I got an edge upside down, so what I usually do here, and this is just a little bonus. If I have a bad top edge, I'll put it here, and then I put it in. And this has an interesting effect. Once you do that, the edge that you just took out that was upside down, you do 180 degrees, and now it's correctly oriented. And once you get the edge back in, the top edge that you had also becomes oriented. It's just one of those cool little things, independent of this puzzle. Okay, so now I'm going to use a edge 3 cycle on top. It's called Suni or Soon. Some people call it Soon, and it requires me to have one good edge, 3 bad ones, and I'm just going to 3 cycle. the edges using this soon. So that's probably the most complex algorithm, and that's for the 3x3 solve. Alright, so now I want to find a good corner. There's a good corner, and now I'm going to cycle them. Now you'll notice I only use one version of most of the algorithms and do it twice if I need to, and that's just my thing. I don't like complex memorization at all. So I'm going to orient the last two corners using a simple method. Now I want you to be careful on the last corner. So I'm going to bring it down, and you watch when it goes up, because there is a parity that can kind of get you. Okay, now in this case we didn't get the parity, so that's a pretty good, pretty clean solve. Alright, there you go. So that was a solve of the MF8 unicorn cube. I will show you the parity if you just keep watching. I will show you a version of the solve that does have the parity and how to fix it. Alright, this is our bonus solve, and this will include a parity and how to fix that parity. If you just want to see the parity, there'll be a link in the description to send you right to the time where I'm showing the parity. So we're going to start and try and get ourselves a really nice scramble here. 180-degree turns at first, just to help us get a bit more, just a bit more scramble. Okay, I accidentally solved the piece here, so, and that, you know, is just something to kind of watch for as you're doing these. Okay, and then I guess that's probably pretty good. Okay, we'll do our 90-degree turns, and you know, you could, if you really wanted to, go back and put some of these vertex so it can turn, and then do a bit more scrambling if you wanted to, if you weren't satisfied with it. Okay, so there's our scramble, and now it's time to solve the unicorn cube. So the first thing we're going to do then is get the, well, we have to solve the little triangles, but I want to get the cuts all lined up to make that easier. We have to orient the faces so that we have little triangles pointing at each vertex. Okay, I think that's good. This one's already done for us, so that's kind of nice. And let's see here. Sometimes you can get lucky and just do a 3 cycle, and okay, it didn't fix them all, but I got all but one of them. So I have to reverse this. So I have, this is the long edges here. I want the short edge there, so that one will work if I go that way. Now I do have to be careful about munching pieces from the one that's solved below, but that's all right. We just work our way around the puzzle. So that one's good. This one, let's try that same trick and see if I can get a couple of them lined up. Indeed, so I got 2 of the 3 just by doing a 3 cycle. So this piece is okay. We will go up like that. There we go. And I think, yep, so this one's still good, and now this one's good. So I got the 2, flip it over, and now everything is going to be on the top here, and I got to just watch these pieces here. So this is really a mess. None of these work, so I'm going to 3 cycle these, down, down, up, up, and you know, usually it gets at least 2 of them going. So I have this. I'm just gonna turn this whole thing around. Okay, that works. Okay, so that got that one going. Now over here I've got the same mess, and again I'm going to 3 cycle it. Now that always has to work on the last one because there's only 3 pieces left. So if it hadn't worked the first time, I would have cycled them again. So now I've got everything set up, and I'm ready to solve the little white triangles. So that's a triangle there, and then that's a triangle there. Oh, so they're both over here. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. I see I've got a an orange one there. So what I can do, bring that up. Okay, I can bring that down, and then I can turn this around and bring that up. Okay, so that's not too bad. That one's soft. So now I'm just gonna forget about the white face now, and now we'll worry about the sides here. So this orange one, I see we've got a piece right there. So that's going to be fairly easy to fix. So let's just go ahead and just get that one completely solved. Okay. Now I did have a peek over here to see if we were possibly breaking something on this side, and we're really not. We are, in this case, there was a yellow up there, but we can actually we can work on that. There's only one blue here. So yeah, so let's take care of that. There's a yellow there. We've got to be mindful of that. So I'm going to find a blue. There's a blue. This will knock a green out, but we're really not too worried about that. As a matter of fact, there's a yellow. Okay. So there's my blue. So when we come back, we can turn it back, and hopefully we put a green in there or something anyway. Maybe not. So there's my blue. So I'm going to bring it around here. Now, if I just turn it this way, it's going to totally mess everything up. So let's try and be a bit more strategic about this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So what I'll do instead, just because it's gotten complicated, we can just ignore this one. So I want to swap these two pieces, and I want to do a 3 cycle. So the way but I only want to swap 2 pieces. So what I'll do is I'll involve 2 blues and a yellow, and that's my 3 cycle. So to start it off, I'm going to put this piece into this blue, and it knocks that blue out, and the yellow, or the orange, sorry. Going to do a 180-degree turn, and now I'm going to reverse that move. Okay, and what that does is it takes the yellow that we had in there, it puts the blue back, and it puts the orange back. Okay, so that was a 3 cycle of little triangles that only involved 3 pieces but 2 colors. Okay, so keep that one in mind. That's a really handy thing to have in your back pocket. Let's see, we've got this right here, and I think we can, as a matter of fact, if I do this, yeah, I've got a yellow. See, that fixes the yellow, but we still have these. Oh, okay, so now we have the green and red swap. Okay, and again, that's going to be a 3 cycle where we have 1 red and we're going to use 2 greens, exactly the same way as we just did it. So I'm going to shove this way. So I shoved the green, knocked the green loose, knocked the yellow down here, but it's okay. Flip it around, and now we'll reverse that action and bring the red where it belongs. Red solved, green is solved, and the yellow solved, and all of our yellow pieces, or sorry, all of our little triangles are solved, including the yellow and all the other colors. Okay, that was our solve. Now the next thing is to solve the edges. Okay, so I like to use this yellow, red, green, and what we do is we start here, and just there should be one in place already, and we're gonna twist this way. So orange, yellow. So I need the small orange, yellow there. Okay, always the last place you look. There it is. So we're going to go this way, so I'll hide that piece away, bring it in. We're basically doing a 3 cycle, just in a kind of an awkward way. So that'll solve that, and now we need blue and orange right there. Blue and orange. Okay, there it is. Okay, so we want the small piece towards the bottom, so it's going to go this way. There we go. Okay, and we don't do anything there. Okay, so we've done 2 pieces. Now we're going to go in the opposite direction, so we want red and green right in here. Oops, I thought I saw it there because it's very distinctive. Red and green. Huh, I really thought I saw it. Oh, there it is. Okay, okay, so it's going to go back. blue and red right there. Okay, and so we'll go back. So now we fixed it and we made 2 more. So if you're keeping track, we've made 4 out of the 12 edges that we need. So now we're going to go forward, and we got the red and yellow, which is right there. Okay, and then this brings a green and yellow, which has to go down there. Green and yellow. Okay, probably much easier for you to see. Oh, it's right there. Green and yellow right there. Okay, so that's we've had this situation before, and thinking the other solve. What we do in that case is we're just going to put an already broken one in there. It doesn't really matter what it is. So we're just going to have 1 solve this time. It's no problem. Okay, so we got 1 solve. Now remember, we're going to go back. So now it'll be blue and white in there. Blue and white. Okay. Okay, so that's the blue and white going back, and now it's blue and yellow in that case. Find the blue and yellow here. Okay. Okay, and so now we're going to go back. And we fixed 2. Okay, now, and so we have white and red, and we're going to go forward. So we need to find the white, red. Should be getting easier to find pieces now. Okay, white and red, and then it's going to be orange and green, which is right there. And okay, so, and we have exactly the same situation we had last time with the last solve, where we've been too good. This is too good. This is too excellent, because we solved all of our edges, but we've solved them with this vertex out of place. So the solution there, and it's crazy, it's counterintuitive, but the solution there is to take a broken one and put a good one in its place. What that does is it means we're only going to solve 1 piece. But now we have 2 broken pieces plus the 3rd one that we put away, and we have 1 more turn to do. So that is going to be perfect. Now this, if we go backwards, this and this will fix, so we don't have to worry about it. So we need to find an orange green to put in there, and it should be the only other broken piece on the unsolved piece on the puzzle. So we'll do that. Okay, we're going to go back, and now we have all these triangles solved and all of our edges are solved. So at this point we're ready to do the Rubik's Cube solve, keeping in mind that there are a few things we got to think about. So we have to line up the splits here, the cuts. We have to line up the side ones. Okay, I'm trying to figure out why that's looking like that. Oh, I was wondering. Okay, I was wondering how that could possibly have happened. So I had one of the edges on the wrong face. I had the red one on the green, and it didn't line up, and it didn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, there we go. It shows you. And always learn something new. Okay. Okay, so that one just got it 90 degrees. There we go. Okay. We'll put our white corners in. Okay, and these ones are going in fairly quickly, so there we go. So there are white corners. We're going to put our edges in. Okay. Okay. So this algorithm I'm doing is just a standard edge insertion beginner's method, and you know, it's fairly simple. I do use 2 different versions of it, left or right, just because otherwise it's very difficult to do otherwise. Okay, so now we got that done. Do the last layer. And now I'm looking for one good edge and 3 bad ones. Soon, or Suni as it's called. Okay, and now I'm looking for a good corner. There's a good corner, and I'm going to recycle the other 3 corners. And I only use one version of it, so if they need another go, then I just do it again. Instead of using a left and a right one, I don't want to have so many algorithms rattling around in my head. Okay, let's try this then. Now, one of the things I didn't really talk about before, if you're going to, in case of parity, it's better to have a, if you're going to have a parity, it's better to end with a corner on one of the turnable vertices. So if you're going to start so that the last one is on a turnable vertex. Okay, so we're going to orient this corner. Okay, and there's no problem at all with orienting the corners until you get to the last one, and then you really want to be very mindful of it. So now everything's solved. I'm going to try and solve this. Okay, and we note that the corner is correct, but this is still wrong. So when this happens, just keep turning the corner until the bottom part gets solved. There you go. Okay, so now we're left with the classic twisted corner parity on the unicorn cube. Okay, all the other corners are solved. As a matter of fact, if this were to happen on your standard Rubik's Cube, it would mean something was wrong. It would mean that someone has dropped the puzzle and twisted a corner or something like that. But in this case, this is a legitimate parity error where you actually can't twist the corner using algorithms on this puzzle. You just can't. There's no way to twist this one corner. So the solution to this, and I've seen a lot of solutions online, I've seen a lot of people, different solutions. Here's my solution to it. Okay, it's absolutely mind-blowing. Here's my solution to it. Okay, there we go. It's twisted. It's done. It's fixed. Oh. Okay, that solves the parity error. The problem is that we have some work left to do. But what is the work? The work is to put the little triangles back and then to fix these 3 edges. We know how to do that. We've already done that. So let's get to it then. I'm going to put the edges back. I want to put this one back in, but then I want to be able to turn the, I don't want to leave this twisted, right? If I just put it back, then we're back to the same. So I got to be very careful about that. So what I'm going to do is use the idea of the 3 cycle using 2 different colors. I'm going to bring this yellow over. I'm going to shove a new yellow where the old yellow was, twist this back, and then reverse what I just did. So we have not changed anything. Now the corner orientation did change, and that has to do with the fact that I rotated things, but we can tell that nothing's changed about the whole vertex because we still have these 2 pieces, okay, in their proper places. So we're going to do the same thing we did here. We got to fix this one, and we'll use the same technique. I'm going to flip this around, I'm going to shove the red in, flip it around, and then bring it back. And what that did for us was it solved both the red and the green. So at this point now we know that we fixed the parity, we fixed the little triangles, and the only thing we have left to do is fix the mess that was left from us doing all that work. But it looks bad, but honestly it's really not. It's not bad at all. Okay, so if we did a turn back here, it would actually solve that. I'm not sure if we really want to do that. Yeah, I kind of like going this direction. So what I'll do is let's just find something else to put in there. I think that's probably the best. All right, so I'm just gonna do that. Okay, so I just randomly put some piece in there, and so this, we're going to go this way, green and red. I could have left the piece there, but I just, I don't know, I just didn't like doing it that way. So we want this piece up here, but it's got to be flipped around. So let's see how I'm going to do this. Okay, so now I've got it flipped around. Okay, so green and red, and then we need orange and yellow down here. Okay, and where's the orange and yellow? There it is. So what you're going to see here is pretty much everything that we've been doing in the original solve. Okay, what am I doing here? I'm having my problems. Oh, okay, that one was... I don't know what I did there. Alright, let's see if we got this. Green and red, yeah. Orange and yellow, yeah. And then blue and yellow. Well, that doesn't fix it, but that's okay. We don't want to do that. So now we've just gone ahead and solved two. You've seen this before. Okay, and we got to replace those two and to put these back, and we'll use this one. So blue and yellow, we got to put a blue and yellow down there. Okay, so there it is, blue and yellow. Let's see here, blue and yellow. So we got to go this way. Okay, so that'll solve that one, blue and yellow. And then up here we want to have a green and yellow. There it is. There's a green and yellow. So we'll go this way. Whoop. And okay. So now we're going to go back. It's going to solve two for us. And put the three yellow triangles back. So now we want to go this way again. So we want blue and red right here. There it is. Okay. Okay, so that's our blue and red. We have white and red down here. There it is. Or is it? Oh wait, blue and red. Oh, I've sort of got things... No, I got things messed up. This one's got to go down here. This is the blue and red. If we're going to go that way, yeah, it makes sense. Okay. All right, we can do this. We can do it. Okay. So, all right. So right. So we're going to go this way. This will fix that one. Yeah, I think I may have just kind of sort of not doing it the normal way that I do, but anyway, that's fine. Okay. Okay, and that's... Okay, let's... wow, this is just... Sort of, okay, so if I do this, it'll solve the blue and red, it'll solve the white and red. Oh, it's going to solve all three. Oh. Oh, I see what's happened. Yeah. Do you remember this from the first solve? So this is great. It solved all the edges, but we have these three triangles, so we can't do that. And the solution, before you can create, you've got to destroy. So I'm just going to substitute one of these. I'm going to put a good fresh piece that's already built, and we're going to wreck it. So we only have one. But if I go find the other piece here and put that in, something really cool happens. Okay. When we reverse what I just did and make all these triangles good, it also fixes the last three pieces. All right, well, to back up then, where we are now is we are back to making the white plus sign on the bottom. We've done that before. However, the last time we did that and we solved the puzzle, we got a parity error at the end, which is, I think, the probability. And you know, if you have more insight into this, I'd love to hear it. I think the probability is about 2/3, about 66% of the time, I think. You'll see that parity on the puzzle, but I'm not positive. So if you have some more insight, let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. Let's see here. So the difference this time then is that now we know we're not going to have the parity error if we did everything right. You know, if we made a mistake and maybe turned that vertex back, we didn't do an even number of forward and backwards, then we could still have the parity. But if we did everything right, we know we're not going to have the parity this time. Okay, so just something to sort of keep in mind where we are here with the solve. Because it seems like we've done this before, right? But that's what we have. I find that the resolving is usually not as difficult. Things are a little easier. Now I did a bit of damage, I think, to the solve by kind of deviating a bit. I think I did a few extra turns and cycles during that solve that weren't really necessary. Usually not necessary. Okay, I think I just did something. Oh man. Okay. All right. Yes. So for some reason I forgot to put the white corners in before I put the edges in. I was wondering what was going on here. Okay, so that's all right. It's all right. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. So yeah. So I basically lost track of what I was doing there. Just enjoying solving my puzzle too much. So yeah. So what I was yeah. Now yeah. So I'll have to look at the tape and see what I did there. I don't know if I just yeah, I think I just never put the white corners in, and then I went ahead for to the centers, which is just not the way to do things. Oh, okay. So yeah, but you know what? You get to see the whole thing. I'm not editing it out. You get to see it. You know, I make mistakes. Puzzlers make mistakes. That happens, right? And that's part of the challenge of it, is to keep your focus and to maybe not lose track of what you're doing. Okay, so I got one good one, 3 bad ones. Okay, it's all part of the game. So it's me against the puzzle. Okay, I don't have any good ones here. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to look for a situation where, so if that one will be good if I just put it in that direction. Okay, so I know that one's good. Now I can just 3-cycle them. Well, this is great. We're almost done our second solve, and this is the one that had parity. Okay, one more. Okay, all right, there you go. Now this does look good. You can actually tell because they're symmetrical. They're pointing in opposite directions. You know that the algorithm that we use can fix that. So already I know that we're not going to have parity just because of that, but also just because we fixed it. Okay, and we'll bring it back. Okay, and there we go. That is the MF8 Unicorn Cube solved for a second time. Now my logo's upside down. This is terrible. This is awful. This is completely unacceptable. We do have the power to do this, and I know that you might say, well, but after all of that work, why would you take that chance? Because I gotta have the logo right side up. Alright, so we saw the Unicorn Cube MF8. I really like this puzzle. It is a lot of fun. It does have a big brother, companion, or cousin, or whatever, a crazy unicorn, and I'm looking forward to solving that one too. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that one or any other tutorials. And in the meantime, thanks for watching.